I'm really hoping my internet cooperates. Come on. Hey, HB, good morning. I can't even tell what's working and what's not right now. Man, it's saying my bit rate's low. Damn it. I'm worried. I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to do this way. Morning, Andy. Are you guys getting terrible lag? Because I'm getting really bad lag on my end. And I'm afraid I might have to stop the dual screen and just go to one, if that's the case. Sitting. You're sitting or I'm just sitting? Is that all that's happening? I figured since it's October 1st, I will bring back the Halloween book. I think I've only got one page left. Let me know if this is just like terrible, terrible lag. I know, I miss Monty too. He's right here. Part of the problem with, well, actually no, we lost Monty mostly because of the split screen. Because, excuse me, when I use OBS, the streaming software, to do this, for whatever reason, the camera zooms in so close and you lose like all of the foreground. This is all going to be better once I go inside, as soon as it gets cold. Plus we got things like Oreo. Okay, lag's only a few seconds. Okay, thank you, Andy. Got Oreo barking in the background already. All sorts of things. I know. Crazy dog action. You'll still get dog action when I go inside. It just will be Monty only. You won't get Lucy or Oreo. Andy, thank you for your comment on my video. I thought that I didn't have a full understanding of that. Oh, I don't even have my markers out here. Inside. All right. Got so much stuff. I actually have a meeting today, this evening. A kind of like happy hour, after work thing. And I think it's with the girl that I do the charity with. This charity that I got this water bottle from. I know I mentioned it before. Not the charity, just because that would tell where I'm at. But my point is, we're meeting this evening, and perhaps it's about the charity, but perhaps she's got some work. Yeah, maybe one day dual, one day crazy. Well, once I go inside, hopefully you can see the dogs and the dual POV, and there's no lag because I'm inside and the internet's better, all those things. Let me grab my markers. Hold on. All right. Okay, she's back. Thanks, Andy, for saying that. The core thing was the thing that I didn't do as much research as I probably should have for including it. It was a last minute addition. I had just, as I was working on the video, it wasn't even in the script. I was working on the video and I just had the thought about it and I was like, wait, didn't I hear about this? And so I did a little quick research and saw everything that I'd said about it. But I didn't dive into it enough to the point where I probably would have gotten, or let me say, I didn't dive into it enough in which I probably would have gotten to the point of saying, wait, this is all a theory and we don't know, and blah, blah, blah. Did you, HB? Was it alright? That was a labor of love for that video because of how many times I had to film it and rework it, and my computer being a pain in the ass. And I mean, it was already done once, fully done, and I just couldn't get it off my computer. And then I did it again, and thankfully didn't edit that one before I realized it sucked, and then filmed it a third time. Finally got it. Did you just see Monty walk by? Oh no, you saw his puppy butt in the video, that's right. Yep, need a haircut. I also have another short ready to put out that is talking about Andrea Puharich from one of my long form videos, and I just looked and it's like missing from my drafts folder. And I researched and apparently that happens. So I'm hoping it goes back and I don't have to rebuild that. Thanks, HB. Y204. Okay. I'm going to do the fun little highlight trick again because of the fireplace. Also, I have a dentist appointment this morning, so I've got to make sure I'm out of here by like 9:15. I feel like there was something else. I changed the POV so that hopefully you could see the actual marker tip a little better. So there's a slight change there. Can I ask you two, especially as like the two that I talk to the most, so I started all this going into the deep dives of the telepathy tapes, and I don't want my channel to just regurgitate their information. But I'm wondering if when season 2 comes out, if I should deep dive into each episode there also or not. Like, is that going to be overkill? Do you know what I mean? I keep going out of the lines. This yellow bleeds a lot. Oh my goodness, sirens. How are you two doing? How have you been? How was your Monday, Tuesday? Anything to report? I focused so hard on getting this video done so that I could move on and I like get some work stuff done that I don't feel like I've really consumed anything since I spoke to you guys. You're caught up on your writing. Wait until I've seen a few. Okay, yeah. I hesitate to even think about it because I'm thinking about not even going into season 2, or maybe it's just like a single episode at the end of season 2 talking about the whole season instead of doing an episode by episode, because again, I don't want to regurgitate, but also it was my best performing content for good reason, and that reason is not me, it's because the topic is so fascinating. But it definitely helped build momentum, and it helped with my confidence in this, just in that nothing else performs as well so far. But it's only been a few videos, so. Talk to me about your caught up on your writing, HB. Are you talking about for the second book? Amazing. Do you feel like it's done? I was reading a little bit, yesterday? I think it was 2 days ago. Last night we had a birthday party. How your premonition turned into precog. Okay, we started talking about this the other day, about the difference between premonitions and precognition, and I still don't think I understand what the difference is. How much do you, how long do you think you write a day, or how much do you think you write? Like, do you write for a certain amount of time, like X amount of hours? Do you try to write a certain amount of pages? Is it neither of those and it is what it is? Where else would the light hit? Oh, hi, AJ. Hi, Blaster. From C to signing she. This is the girl for me. You're cute. Okay, the Olympic cycling story, you had deja vu of the Olympic dream, and you had to choose. So are you saying that the premonition was the dream and the precognition was the action making it so? Is that what you mean? How are you, AJ? Having a few technical difficulties, but we're here. This is my face. It's not good. Oh, funny, funny. Alright, I think that's the extent of the highlighting. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing there, right? Maybe a few more here. It's hard because, like, obviously I know her body is blocking a lot of this light, so it doesn't actually make sense, but it's just for the effect. We're obviously making her green. Okay, so HB, are you saying then, am I right in understanding that the premonition is, according to your experience, the premonition is the initial experience, and precognition is once it becomes true? Like, it's still a premonition even if it doesn't happen because you don't take if you don't take action on it. Is that what you mean? Well, thanks, AJ. I'm a little better today. We had a birthday party last night for some friends, or for a friend, and it's always good for the soul to be around friends. And I have a meeting tonight that I'm hoping could turn into some work stuff. Fingers crossed. And I got that fucking Gregorian video out, which I just felt stuck on, and I just felt like I needed to get it out of my system, and I definitely feel better having done that. Let me get this thing. Hour and a half because of dyslexia. Okay, sorry, I see what you're saying, HB. In terms of your writing. I mean, for only an hour and a half, you have written a significant amount. And I very much admire and aspire to be more like you. Alright, I want to do this G915 for her skin. Make sure she's good. Oh. Blaster, that's interesting. Some people have the ability to see possible outcomes due to decisions they make, and usually being consistent in their decision making secures the outcomes they have visions of. Some people have nothing going on in their mind. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what HB is saying, huh? In terms of, like, the decision-making that leads to... Okay, yeah, this marker's cool. We're good. I don't remember dreaming last night, but I did dream... Hi, baby bear. I did dream, 2 nights ago. And I don't really remember much of it, and that is so frustrating when you wake up and you know you were dreaming but you like can't hold it. Is that her finger? What is that? It's the dehydrator buttons you hear. We're starting to dehydrate a bunch of the stuff from the garden. Yeah, you've said that, HB. You once told me, I think over email maybe, that you feel more neurodivergent than you think I probably realize also. But I think that's great, right? I mean, you're made of magic. That's a good thing. I know, Master, you're right. You are right. it is all about how you define success. I don't focus on success as much when I think about those kinds of things as much as I try to think of stability. That's my big thing. Can I feel stable? Do I feel safe, secure? I have to turn this all over. You haven't heard back from the consultants. You said they read to page 25 before they met with you, right? I was just thinking about that when I was reading the other day because I want to see, since I restarted from scratch, I'm not there yet, but I want to see how far they got and what's going on in the story. I am back at Father's Day right now, at the very beginning, with your son and your dad and all of that stuff. And Dad's girlfriend. Cute. You are helping humanity. Oh, AJ, I'm better with books than movies. I like movies, I do. But I really don't watch a ton of movies. Especially lately, my consumption habits, if I'm consuming anything, it's either a podcast or YouTube for the most part. At this point. I loved, the last new movie I watched, was that K-pop Demon Hunters. Thanks, HB. That's good. That's good to know. As I continue reading and get more of the stories, I'll still always run past you before I say anything because I feel better doing it that way. But right now, because I restarted, I don't have anything new to share outside of your experience with, like I said, your father passing. And you having the creepy dream with your sister's laugh and all of that kind of stuff. And then I think where I'm at right now is dealing with your dad's girlfriend. It's so controversial. Well, it's a lot of, I know it's going to adjust, but there's a lot of God talk in there right now where you're talking about the prophets and you're talking about different verses and stuff that you were studying and those kinds of things, which obviously I don't know anything about in terms of even noting that it's controversial. Page 4 is your Hill story. Page 4 on the second book? Page 4 on the first book, the Hill story. You have to refresh my memory, HB, on the Hill story. AJ, books, movies. I said K-pop Demon Hunter. Right now I'm reading HB's unpublished works. I'm also reading Soul Code by someone who I can't remember. I just started that also. In the first book, on the 4th page. Let me go get this book. Hold on. I'm going to reheat my coffee and grab your book. Oh, I'm glad Oreo is keeping you company. All right. First off, James Hillman. This is the other book I was thinking of. And the only reason I grabbed that one was because of Third Eye Drops. What's his name? Is always recommending it, and I finally caved and I bought it used. Okay. This is HB's first book that he sent to me. And page 4. Your unscheduled trip to the hospital because you were having the pain. Oh, I know what you're talking about, HTP. You drifted off in sort of a dream state. You heard the sound of laughter and song in the distance, and everything was very beautiful and peaceful as joy took you to all the sights and sounds. That's what you mean. You tried to focus on it all and what was happening when it started disappearing as you were lying in bed. You tried to recapture it, but it was gone like a breeze. You remembered how the vision made you feel. That is interesting. I remember reading this, but I don't think I had correlated it to the hill. HB is an author, yes. He is unpublished, though. That's the problem. Like, I can't recommend his stuff because nobody can get it. Oh, yeah, Blaster. That is a regular topic of the channel, of having mental telegraphy and accidental telepathy, thinking about someone and they call. Like earlier, for instance, 2 days ago, actually I meant to tell you guys this, I think it was 2 days ago, we were talking about Gen Alpha and trying to remember what years those are, and I looked it up and my partner was like, oh, like Piper, our goddaughter, Piper's Gen Alpha. And I was like, oh yeah, hadn't thought about Piper in a minute, lives in a different state. And then an hour later, Piper's mom called my partner, and she has not called and we have not spoken to her in months. So it was one of those things where Kyle, partner, thought of Piper and immediately her mom called, and it was like, oh my God. Yeah, the children were the non-speakers. Dr. Hennessy has them to use for funding. Has them to use for funding? What do you mean? I don't know about that part. Blaster, I don't know if you've seen my other stuff, but have you heard about mental telegraphy from Mark Twain? Coined it? It basically, hello. I'm going to tell the story for anybody who doesn't. Oh, the books, I see. Well, and actually, HB, I wanted to talk to you about that, because I think you said you had a literary agent, right? But you need an editor? Let me know if I have that right. We can talk offline about it, too. Anyways, mental telegraphy. Absolutely fascinating. That's awesome. I love it. So, Mark Twain, I don't know when this happened, what year this was, but Mark Twain had an idea for a story. He wrote down the idea, not the story, but just wrote down the idea of the story and decided to mail it off to a friend of his that he hadn't spoken to, I think at the time, in like 10 or 11 years. It had been a long time. And so he takes it to the post. Book cover design, that's what you need. So you don't need an editor, you just need a designer, okay. So anyways, he sends this idea off to this friend that he hasn't talked to in a decade or longer. And a short while later, he gets a letter in the mail. And short enough, even for then, that he thought, there's no way my friend read what I wrote, responded, and got something back, like, right away. Like, he would have, it just didn't make sense. And he opens the letter, and his friend had just randomly written him a letter about a story idea that he had, and the story ideas were the same, and he mailed it off to Mark Twain on the same day that Mark mailed off his letter to that same friend, despite them having not spoken for 10 years. So, same story idea, and decided to write it down and send it to each other on the same day. And I just thought that was wild. Got it. Okay, publisher will provide the editor. You need a book cover. You probably need a book cover that... Do you need two? Like, do you need to get them both done together so that they're cohesive? I know you gave me some ideas of what you need. And I will revisit that. But yeah. Oh, Buster. He probably came in to see why Oreo's yelling. Why is there a dog screaming in the background? That's interesting, Blaster, that happens a lot with your dad. I have one girlfriend in particular that it happens with quite a bit in terms of us connecting. Like, I'll text or call her, or she'll call or text me right when we're thinking about each other. Okay, I've heard that before, Blaster. My dog doesn't bark. And I don't think it's possible to love him more than I do. And we're not telepathic. Have the chat pick 2 of my drawings. Oh, for the cover? I mean, we're going to have to figure that out because I'm not the type of artist just to draw anything that's not abstract. And obviously you need to have something quality. Real sidebar on them. Plus I need to finish reading them. Hi, Bugs. Hannah is a potential. Hannah's definitely a potential if she's interested. Maybe you're just a crazy cat, Dad. I mean, I try very hard to be telepathic with this dog. HP knows. But it hasn't happened yet. And he doesn't bark, so there's no words for me to hear in there. I'm going way too slow for how much detail this photo has. Let's do GA22. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes, Blaster? On the talk track series that they go into afterwards, they have someone that talks about animal telepathy, and it is a really, really good episode. At least I really liked it. There's a story about a girl who was like a competitive horse something. I don't know what you do with horses, but I don't know, maybe she was a jockey, but she noticed that she was having issues with one of her horses that she was really close to, and it wasn't jumping and all of this kind of stuff. And it came out that like the horse was really uncomfortable on the drives to the competitions, like in the back of the trailer. Like they didn't like the swaying and not know what was happening. And so this animal psychic came in and talked to the horse and basically told the jockey woman that she needed to inform the horse before she made a turn when they were driving somewhere. Like, okay, I'm going to go right. Okay, I'm going to go left, so that the horse could kind of brace itself and go with the flow of things. But mind you, the horse is in a trailer and she's in the front of a truck. So it's not like the horse can hear her. And the therapist was like, it doesn't matter. Tell her telepathically. Just like let the horse know, okay, I'm turning left, and like do it. And so this girl started doing it, and she said that like everything 180'd with the horse. Like they would get to the competitions and the horse would feel great. It wouldn't be unsteady, wouldn't be upset from the ride, would feel much better. And then said that there had been times since then where she might be rushing and would forget to do this with the horse. And then she would notice, like when she got there, that the horse's behavior was different. And she was like, wow, it really, there was something to it about her communicating this. It was just very curious. Hi, Rothian. What do you mean you didn't expect to see a live from me at this time? This is what time I'm always live. You mentioned it before, but anytime? Oh, thanks. I'm gonna have to update them soon. They're on their last leg. Oh, really? I'm usually, right now it's Mondays and Wednesdays at this time. However, everything's in flux, right? Things are always changing, so we'll see. Oh, Oreo. Kind of in the sun up there. Yeah, please do, Rothian. It might be changing. I may try to get on a little bit more often. Hold on. I just kind of created a little tent to keep you guys in the shadow. Just saying, the world is small if you don't look around, and if you are awake, you notice magic, for lack of a better term. I agree wholeheartedly. I think the world is magic all the fucking time. One of the things that I love to do, and I've said this before, is when I travel, I'm always thinking of like the miracle of flight, and it really makes a big difference in terms of me not getting. Oh my God, is that a generator? Is that, maybe it's better since we have this audio now. Let me know. But always remembering that like it's such a miracle that we even have flight and that we can do this. And then that way when the plane's delayed or something's going on, I'm not as stressed about it, if that makes sense. Because I just remember that it's fucking magic that we're flying. I also do believe in like the power of perception and awareness and being awake and trying to see the beauty and the magic in things. I completely agree. And I took my medicine, but I can tell my ADHD is all over the place. I don't know if I even finished saying what I was saying to Rothian, which is that, yes, I hope to see how this evolves. Part of it, too, is that I kind of, like, if time permits, I want to take you guys with me when I travel. And that's not on a Wednesday or a Monday. I mean, Monday, there will be a Monday that I'm out because I'm flying that morning, so there's just no way. But that's part of the reasoning, I think. Man, I've gotten real nowhere real fast. Dude, I love to question how we did a lot of things. Andy and I've talked about it before, but sometimes it's making me think about, I don't want to say it, how do I want to say it? Like, I guess UAP technology. Like, I've always been told that fiber optics actually came from alien tech. Or you think of ancient civilizations and all of the incredible architecture they did that was actually tuned to frequencies and had all of these sounds. And isn't there like an incredible church that was built in a way, I'm not sure if it's the stairs, but it was built in a way that, like, no one can figure out how this man did it. Like, there's just so many things like that. They're just so interesting. Oh, really, Rothian? Oh, I'm so glad you hang out. I'm only doing the art to keep my hands busy when no one's talking to me. I'm definitely not G41. Much of an artist, I don't think. Yeah, I agree. There has to be some sort of arc in human history. Welcome back, Andy. How's Buster? Man, this one's dying. Oh, listen to birdies. Let's see if I can get the eyes at least. It's interesting. I like, as I'm working through this YouTube thing and figuring out my place and what I want to do and how I want to do it, I do catch myself second guessing myself constantly. And one of which is how these lives go. And so it just means a lot that even though we're a small little community, that you guys are you're so freaking kind. And I just appreciate you all so much. I did, books. AJ, I was recommending a book yesterday to somebody. This is a spiritual woo-woo book, but The Untethered Soul. I've read a bunch of these kinds of books, but The Untethered Soul really made a big difference for me. And I forgot that I recommended that yesterday. Oh, thanks, Rathian. I'm glad Buster's happy. Okay, think about the laser cannon Navy Army has. In 1993, they said we would have Star Trek weapons. You never would believe them. Wasn't there, Andy might know who it is, wasn't there, oh man, there was someone, I shouldn't talk if I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to say it was a military science person that was doing a presentation at a university, and everyone was talking about how he always said that, like, we now have the science and the technology to take ET back home. And everyone kind of, like, laughed it off. And then I think he told someone else that basically they were like, you would never believe, like, we are 50 years beyond what you could imagine. And they were like, if you've seen it in Star Trek, if you've seen it in Star Wars, it's real. And I was like, that's crazy, but also very interesting. It's very interesting. But this is similar but different. Makes me think of a Mandela effect that I recently, in the last couple years, came across, which was, oh my gosh, what did they call the wartime ships, the battleships that they used that repainted all crazy colors in order to, I don't want to say it was camouflage them, but it had something to do with that. What was it? I'll search it in just a second. And I don't understand how I never heard about that growing up, these ships. When I saw them, I was like, you're full of shit. That doesn't exist. And then I was like, did I just either never learn about this, or is this a Mandela effect, or what? Man, that marker's almost out. Was X head of Skunk Works? That would make sense. Above Majestic. Okay, Rathian. HB, I still haven't watched Above Majestic, but I'm not gonna lie, I watched the trailer and it looks a little crazy. What are the, okay, battleships painted colors. What? Dazzle camouflage, but that's not what they were called. Yeah, no, okay. Dazzle camouflage. Dazzle. That's an X. Dazzle camouflage ships. Okay. Everybody Google Dazzle camouflage ships and look at the pictures of this and tell me if you remember this and knew about this. Some of them look less wild than what I remember when I first heard this, but why did I not know that we did this? Did you guys know that? Gerb, I think, did mention it, but I feel like I've heard it from a couple people. Oh, yeah. Master, how old are you? I always say I'm grateful for the age that I am because I came up with technology at a young enough age that I could adapt to it, but I'm old enough that I remember not having it. I remember not using the internet, not being on our phones. I fucking loved not having little computers in our hands. It made it so accessible, which, like, there's so many things to love about that, but man, it, like, definitely does something to your psyche. Okay, so you've seen the Dazzle camo. Oh, Blaster. Okay, I'm 38. So yeah, we're about the same. Andy, you've seen the Dazzle camo. Were you always aware of it, or was it news to you when you came across it? Because I learned this at the ripe age of 37, probably. Wait, Andy said he didn't like it? I haven't looked at the the trailer in a second. I just remember that when I glanced at it, I was like, I thought I was hoping it was going to be more just about the documents, but it seemed like it was about all sorts of stuff. But I don't, like I said, I don't remember. Is this camera angle better for the page? It feels better. Hey, Gothric. Okay, Andy says it went crazy about after 30 minutes. Too much. I need to go back and rewatch the trailer and remember what it was. I just remember because I have to rent it, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's on Tubi. Whatever. I just remember watching the trailer and being like, huh. Maria Orsic. I don't know who that one is. I have to look. Gothric. PS5 pad. Forgot your PSN details. You're speaking a different language to me. No idea what you're talking about. Using these greens. Subs in space. Is that what they talk about? These were official government people in the day. Oh, in the doc? If I can find it for free, I'll give it a watch just for the sake of the conversation with you. Do we keep going with the greens? Or, I mean, I can tell that I'm a little bit better in attitude today. Subs and space was too much. I have to look into that. HB, I think that's part of why it takes me so long to get through your book and stuff. Because of all the Bible stuff, and it's so foreign to me. It's hard, I will say. It's a little challenging for me. But I know it's vital to your story. I see, okay. AJ, I don't know if you're still lurking, but thinking of books, again, because I have no movies to recommend, this is a light, fun read, but I've said this before, Ready Player One, that movie was so bad. Don't worry about the movie. If you've already watched the movie, black it out of your head. The book has nothing like that. But the book I found to be, it's one of my favorite reading for joy books. And not joy because it's joyful, but reading for pleasure, not necessarily for education. Even though there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. Oh, I know it doesn't, HB. I know. I just mean that, in terms of me catching up to your writing and your reading, I appreciate you so much for the way that you approach all of this. But no, anyways, sorry. As I was saying, AJ, Ready Player One is, or whoever, Ready Player One is one of those books that if you just need something light, that you just want to read for the joy of reading and to have a fun book, that is one of my go-tos. I've gifted it to so many people, and I don't even have my own copy anymore. I think I've bought 2 or 3 copies and ended up giving them all away. Welcome back. Yeah, Blaster, I saw that too. You weren't in church going to Orthodox Christian when this was happening too. Yeah, I remember that from the beginning, that you were saying that you, after your promise, you were like, oh, I have to figure some stuff out. Blaster, I saw this about the actress, and I'm not gonna lie, that is gut-wrenching. It makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want that to be a thing at all. I mean, obviously it's going to be. There's only so much we can do. Can't put any of this back in the box. But AI actresses, I hate it. I hate it so much. Because, I mean, the thing about watching an actor, the whole thing about acting as a human is to portray humanity. And so to do that just with an AI actress. Actually, HB, the fact that you've come full circle like that is what keeps me reading and keeps me going, because I know that. It's just getting through it is a little bit of a challenge, but I know that you're right. Or I know that that's where you're at, and that gives me drive to keep going with the book. 6 books, 2 books. Yeah. I know, that's wild, HB. I know. I love that you think that you fixed it. I can't wait to get to that part and see exactly what you mean. Religion as told by you. If God is really just love, then those feelings of love in you is telling you to have faith in your life. Don't get hung up on the Jesus part. No offense to religious people. That's so interesting. I'm an ever optimist, even on my bad days. And I'm a big believer of intention, and I don't know, I guess I'm just very spiritual. It's probably the best way to put it. Yeah. I mean, we all have interesting stories from our youth, right? And many of us have interesting stories specifically to do with our experiences with religion. But mine were as trippy as anybody else's, and it definitely colored my experiences with religion now. Yes. I don't even know how to say it. What is that sound? I hope that's not awful. I hope it stops. Joshua. That makes sense. It looks more like Joshua. Alright, I need a brown. Why 648? Man, I really hope that awful sound stops. My dad got remarried, and his new wife has him going to church for the very first time in my life, which is wild. My dad I've never, ever, ever, ever seen my dad walk into a church that wasn't for a wedding. Ever. And now, homeboy goes all the time. So good for him. But it has been a trip to watch this evolution in him. His parents would be thrilled if they knew. Did any of y'all get brought up on the Left Behind series like I was? Because that's really what fucked me up for a long time. Because in the cult stuff, they were very much always telling us that we were at the end of times, and that we were of the lifetime that was going to experience revelations. It scared the living daylights out of me as a kid. I feel like I've been personally victimized by the Left Behind series and am due compensation. If you love your husband and are true to your partner or any of your biological or chosen family for that matter, just means you walk with love and God is love. Yep, I agree. I think God is the word that I don't use a lot, just because it has so much energy behind it and like for my life, but I agree. I think it's all love. I really do. How do you comment when you're on a computer? You want to switch this live from your phone to your laptop? I don't think I can show you, but I went to my channel on a separate tab, if you will, and the chat pops up on the right hand side for me on my computer. So try going to my channel and clicking on the live. Does it not pop up on the side there? That was another thing that we'll see how it evolves over time, but potentially going back to a horizontal view when I move inside. It didn't get much traction when I first did it, but nobody, I got no viewership, but I don't have a ton of viewership now, so what's the harm, right? It does, but you can't comment. I have no idea. Because I have a little chat box right here that I can see. Hmm. Rothian, I wish I could help you. I don't know why you can't. Oh, can't comment or chat. You're chatting, you can't comment. I don't know why I can't comment either. I figured that out the other day too. I can only comment after the live is over. I'm sorry, Rothian. Censorship. I don't think it's censorship. I think it's just technology. I mean, yeah. Also, Blaster, he does kind of sound like a badass. I've said this before, but I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert that was speaking at some panel, and she was talking about how Jesus, Buddha, and the Dalai Lama were all great men that spoke about empathy and kindness and nonviolence and all of these things, which are essentially just all the things that women already naturally do. And I have never been able to stop thinking about that since I read that, ever since I saw her. You're on Chrome? What am I on? I'm on Chrome also. But I can't comment, can you? Andy? Like, actually, not chat, but comment. I feel like for whatever reason you can't comment until after the live is done. Oh, Oreo. CG 1103. You can't chat or comment on your computer. Weird. Okay, well, hello. Hi, guys. Why did two birds show up on either side for a second? It's weird that you can't chat. I can't comment on the computer, but I don't know why you can't chat. Boo, that makes me sad. I'm sorry. I want you to be able to watch it in whatever format makes sense for you. If there's anything on my end that is like an adjustment and anybody's aware of it, holler and I will happily make the change. Rothian, thinking of you commenting on how juicy the markers are and some of them are running out. This one's a really good one, but man, that's the other thing. I've been so busy trying to find work and get other stuff going that I haven't just, I said this on Monday, but I haven't been coloring on my own. I've only been coloring if I'm on live. And every time I sit down to do this, I miss it. And I'm like, wait, why aren't I coloring all the time? Because it doesn't pay the bills. But it just brings me so much joy. Also, I'm sorry for turning the page 1,000 times. Unrelated, but I know I mentioned I have a dentist appointment this morning, and I have an irrational fear of the dentist. And I love my dentist, and he knows that I have an irrational fear of the dentist. But I say all of that to say, I'm feeling not so scared today. Yes, and HB, your live number 12 is still available in the playlist. FYI, I put everything in the playlist now, guys. I only have the most recent ones up on the main channel. Boo, I'm sorry, Rothian. You think I could enable it? Okay. I will go in the back end and see what I can do. Also, yeah, Andy, I mean, we do believe that Andy's being watched, but there is a chance that Andy's the watcher. Were you ever recruited, Andy? You're very intelligent. You're very poised. You seem very calm and collected. It would not shock me if you were a secret MIB. Yeah, I hear you, Blaster. I had so much dental work done as a kid, and it just kind of traumatized me a little bit, and it just made it so that I was afraid of the dentist, because every time I'd go to the dentist I felt like I got bad news and I had to get like more of a contraption or something done. And then as an adult, it was like every time I go to the dentist, it's bad news and finances. It's like you have to pay for this and pay for that, blah blah blah. Aw, good morning, Jimmy. Okay, thanks, Rothy, and I'm glad you're here. Thanks for staying. Perhaps in the next live we'll be able to figure it out. Yeah, Blaster, I get it. That's why I'm always terrified, but in truth, it'll be fine. Okay. I need to figure out what color I want to make her outfit here. I'm gonna do this red and something else. This purple, maybe? Five, four, three. What is that? There it is. How are you, Jimmy? What's new with you? Anything? These markers are going to be really juicy because I don't think I've ever used this color before. David Wilcock. Why does that sound familiar? You guys see okay? Oh yeah, this one's dark. Yeah, exactly, Blaster. That's always what I'm afraid of. Thankfully, yeah, I don't know. There's no thankfully. I hate going to the dentist. Today's just a cleaning, though, which I actually always love because I feel like my teeth just look so white afterwards. And I've got all these fun weddings coming up. So next Friday is when I start traveling for a week or so. So you gotta get everything all ready. I'm not spending any excess money on doing stuff for all these weddings. Like I was gonna go get my nails done. I was gonna go get a tan, a spray tan, all that. I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm gonna do my nails myself, do my tan myself, but I'm gonna still go get my teeth cleaned. Pyramid prophecy. Maybe that's why I recognize it, because you've talked about that before. I still don't think I understand the pyramid prophecy, but I know you've mentioned it. Is Wilcox? No, I'm thinking of Graham Wilcox. That's the uh, Ancient Civilizations dude, isn't it? Edgar Casey, is he the psychic, right? Or I guess, I don't know, you don't want to call him prophet. Isn't he like the Baba Yaga, but men? Is he the one that said that there are... Okay, wait, hold on, it's coming back to me. Because Didn't Edgar Casey make some predictions about, like, the Giza Plateau and some of the things in the Sphinx? Well, came to humanity in 2012? Graham Hancock, not Graham Wilcox. Thank you, Andy. Close. So wait, what does that mean, though? How spirituality was coming to humanity in 2012? Oh, Your Promise was in 2012, too. What about before 2012, though? There was no spirituality? Maybe that can't be true. Now she looks like a pilgrim. I mean, I guess that's not my fault. That's the dress, right? Hall of Records. Was that Casey that predicted that? And is the Hall of Records supposed to be similar to the Akashic Records in a way? Like, isn't it supposed to contain all of the knowledge that ever was? The Hall of Records, I mean. Obviously, I know the Akashic Records are supposed to be fucking everything, but am I getting my wires crossed? Oh, Oreo, not today. Little pilgrimage. God will pour his spirit out into all of humanity. That was from 2012. Interesting. Okay, so we don't really know for sure what the Hall of Records is or is supposed to be. I remember hearing about it when all those scans came out from underneath the pyramids, when they were like, oh, we found crazy shit down there, which I'm still very fascinated by. I feel like I was reading a little bit about Casey then, because they were saying that, like, some of the stuff he was predicting were lining up with the things that the SAR scans were showing, I think. That's interesting, HB. Okay, so Andy, talk to me about the Book of Enoch in that aspect. Original Book of Enoch, you say. I don't know very much about it at all. As you know, you guys have told me everything I know about Book of Enoch. But when you say original, what does that mean? Do we not have the original? Isn't there only one? And then there's just been like the translations, like what you've done? Or what do you mean when you say you would like an original? I'm like almost intimidated to get into the Book of Enoch because Andy, you're so well versed in it that I am like embarrassed to even attempt to understand it. I feel like I would just make a fool out of myself. I will say though, doing this channel, with each video that I do, I learn so much because of the research that I do before I talk about things, and I love that. I love feeling like my brain's getting bigger. I love feeling like I'm learning. Yes. Okay. So I know that it was hidden and all of that, but I guess my question about like when he says original, what does that mean to him? Because Andy has done translations of this, so I just don't know that I'm following fully. And Andy, I mean, your name's on a book. That makes you an author, no? In terms of what you did with the Book of Enoch. Yeah. Okay, the text we have is mangled, maybe not complete. Okay, that's what you mean. I see. And can you talk a little bit about the book that you worked on with it? Um, and what exactly you did there? Was it a translation that you were doing or what? I'm getting a little somewhere here. I probably should have made this that same brown. This is going to get a little dark in the colors, but we're going to do it because it's what makes sense. Oh, we're going to wait till that stops. You watched Cooper Anderson do the monarch migration and he didn't know anything. You have experts, so tell the story. That was good, HB. I agree. I always like that concept that you are made up of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Okay, so you've been using a translation and you've been putting it in a correct order. So that is what you did with the books that you worked on, was help like order and make sense of it all. Is that correct? Looks like somebody dropped it before the pages were numbered. Oh, and what language is it in originally? Does that make sense? Obviously that makes sense. What I'm saying is it translation in terms of terminology, or is it translation in terms of a different language also? Does that make sense? Second Temple scribes and Pharisees. I don't know what that is. Or phrases? Pharisees, no. HB, have you read the Book of Enoch? Here's your recommendation, AJ, if you're still lurking. We'll say the one thing that makes YouTube not like other social media that I wish it actually had was the ability to tag people in comments of videos. Like, I wish that you guys, as you come across things that you're like, Sundown, check this out, you could just tag me in the comments so I would know to come look for it, or vice versa. Like, sometimes I'm reading things or watching things, and I'd love to have your guys' input, and I'd love to be able to tag you and be like, yo, who's watched this, or check this out if you have time, I want to talk about it. But you can't do that right now. Although YouTube is rolling out all sorts of new features right now for the creator side. So maybe someday. It might make it a little too much like social media though. Okay, so you have read it. Yes, I think. Okay, I think I have it about right now. It was written in Ge'ez. What is that? Geez. What is that? What kind of language is that? I've never even heard of that. Okay. I need to sort a few more colors out. And he got his 1978 translation from a university library. Egyptian. Thank you, HB. I did not know that that's what that was called. So does that mean do you know that language? Wait, Ethiopian or Egyptian? Regardless, do you know that language, Andy? I was fascinated learning about Ethiopia with the Gregorian calendar stuff. That was very cool. Oh, duh, you said you have the translation. Duh. No wonder you don't speak that, obviously. Richard Lawrence translation. How many translations have there been? Are there arguments about the translations? Like, do people fight over who's got the right idea? In the Hebrew calendar, I think it was 5785. That got ingrained in my brain. And then Islamic calendar was like 1776, I think. And then Ethiopian was 2017. And then Gregorian was 2025. The book was found in Ethiopia. Do we think the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia? Originally in Hebrew, maybe. Professor Michael Nib translation. Okay. So yeah, do the scholars battle it out over whose translation is better or right? Are there differences in the translations? Wait, when was it found? I always thought that the Ark was in Ethiopia. I feel like that's always what I had heard. When was the Book of Enoch found? I feel like I only recently heard about it in the last few years. But again, I kind of went through an awakening in 2021 and all of this opened up since then. Yes, Ark and Axiom. Okay. The Ethiopian has the parables. Interesting. Oh. I need to bring in more orange. Do that. Okay. How are we doing on time? 85 minutes. What time is it? 9. I only have a few more minutes, but hold on one second. I'm gonna reheat this. Ooh, come back, do a little bit more. We're gonna finish up. Coffee ready. I'm gonna give myself like 15 minutes max before I have to go get ready for my appointment. See how far I can get in this. Okay. Where are we at? Most translations were done in the 1800s. So how? So they've had the Book of Enoch for a long time. Are people just now talking about it, or am I just the only one that's recently become aware of it? Wow. There's a lot more going on with the Book of Enoch than I realized. Between all of the languages and the... Wow. Of course I'm buffering. That's really interesting. I mean, I am very interested in spirituality, but the amount of things that I'm learning about religion from you guys is amazing in the best way. Gotta bring in some other color in here. And the colors show crazy on the screen. It looks a lot more... How do you think I figured out religion is the Bible? Or that religion is the problem? That's funny. It looks a lot better in person. In the camera, the colors are chaos. I need to bring in another color. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the background also. Maybe the background color will answer. For some reason I just gravitated towards this really awful bright green that would probably not work. Book of Enoch was a major key to you understanding. I bet, actually, based on what the little bit that you've said, that I can see that, actually, because of all the prophecy and the... Yeah. So do you think that was... Yeah, so Enoch was key to you understanding. All right, you guys are sucking me in. You're going to get me to read this book eventually, or a translation of it. Is it long? Is it like... Are translations forever long? Will it take me forever? Because we all know how not fast I am, apparently, at reading. So I'm just trying to figure out the background color. It's like I want to do something like this, but I feel like it's just going to be so dark. B522. You know what? Screw it. It's just a coloring page. Alright, I'm going to start with the background next, and maybe it'll help me fill in the other colors. You have Enoch in paperback? Oh my god, this buffering. How long of a read is it? I think I need an audiobook. Honestly, if someday when YouTube is fruitful for me and can become a career, I can actually, like, my work can be researching these things, right? Like, my work could, like, that's what I'm trying to say. I almost wanted to say, I wish I was retired so that I could just read and learn and do this stuff. And then I realized I don't have to be retired for that. I just need to make it my work by making this channel work. And then I can do those things for the love of doing them and for my career. Because I can't think of any other career that would allow me just to study all the different rabbit holes that I want to go into and switch up frequently so that I don't get bored or stuck on just like one topic. It's not a lot. Oh, 300 pages. Wait, it's quite short for a book, 80 pages, but HB's book is 300 pages. What? Must be small pages HB that you can read in a day. Ah, I see. So it sounds like maybe HB's version is expanded. Okay, so 80 pages isn't bad. Isn't bad at all. Now, something as complicated as this, I feel like I'd have to read multiple times. On your website, Andy, all of those links, do those contain the translations? Can I go there and read them and break it up just based on your links? Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly? I see. Okay. So yeah, HB's is expanded. I can't do 300 pages. I just need the translation. Your version is just the book. Okay. I saw, is it on Amazon, Andy? I saw it there, but I don't know if it was still available or if I just found like an old listing. Listen to those birds. You can read it online, but it's easier to download the PDF. Not yours on Amazon. Okay. I feel like I'd seen it come up there. Okay. I'll go back to your website and revisit that. Oh, HB, before I get off, you mentioned Dr. Hennessy on Monday. You mentioned that she did another podcast or YouTube video, and all of my browser tabs closed and I lost them, and I had it written somewhere on one of those tabs and I lost it. Who were you saying that she did an interview with recently when you were talking about her discussing your work that I should check out? Do you remember? Not Amrit, but the other one. So I'm going to close this down. You feel dumb? Oh, Rothian, please don't feel dumb. Oh, Blaster, you guys checked out. I'm sorry. I don't want you to check out. We're talking about wild esoteric things. And you're not dumb. I'm very, very, very much just learning all of this myself. Well, I'm glad you find it fun. I don't want you guys to check out and be bored. I think it's so interesting to learn about, like, every day you guys in the comments shock me with your expertise on just things that I know nothing about and am so eager to learn about, and it just makes me happy. I mean, to be fair, I literally knew nothing about the Book of Enoch before Andy and HB. Like, I'd heard the words, but I literally knew nothing. So they have taught me the little bit that I do know. Alexis Brooks, thank you, HB. Okay. As soon as I finish this background, I'm gonna open that and save it. And you guys, I am feeling a little better today than I was Monday. That makes my heart happy. Okay. All right, I'm gonna open Alexis Brooks over here. Oh man. Alexis Brooks. Okay. Saved it. All right, how are we doing on time? Okay, no more than 10 minutes. I'm almost done. Almost done, almost done, almost done. What color is that? Inside the fireplace. HB wrote 2 books. One of them is right here. It's called Because I Promised, and then there's Because I Promised Part 2. But they are unpublished, hence the binder copy that I have. I know. I would love to write a book someday. I think I have it in me. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I think I have it in me. It's funny, like, I've had a really cool life. I've done and seen some really cool things, and I know that there's more of that in my future. And every now and then when I talk about just some of the experiences I have, people will joke, oh my gosh, you should write a book. Especially like things like talking about the cult and the family name and my parents and whatever. And I always think the only people that like write books that are like memoirs that write about their lives are usually people that are famous or known for something. It doesn't seem like something that just like an average woman would do. So I don't ever really take it seriously, but when I do actually then think about how I would love to write a book someday, I do reflect back on like, I just have so many fun, interesting stories. Mostly, I guess, about following my intuition and it landing me in really interesting places. But then I always think like, but I'm just a girl, like who cares? Like, why would anyone read that? So then I gotta think of like, I gotta have something else to write about, you know? Bring the blue in over here. Oh, it feels good to do a little Halloween page again. It's been a minute. October 1st. I gotta get my decorations up. When I showed the puppy butt at the end of the Gregorian video, you might have seen that I have a Halloween tablecloth already on the coffee table. Oh yeah, almost always. Book 2 is where myth meets science. Rothian, you're trying to write a book too. What are you writing about? What do you want to write about, Rothian? And yes, culty leaders are usually grifters. About half the time, myths statistically can be close to what physical world has to offer. Interesting. It's an interesting concept. Wait, okay, Rothian, what do you want to write about? That's so interesting, Jimmy. Myths statistically can be close to what the physical world has to offer. Horror stories. Wait, Rothian, was it you that I was telling about Let the Right One In, the book, and House of Leaves? Were you there the other day when I brought those out? Is that how we got started talking about horror stories? All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the gray on the inside. And I'll just have to do a couple layers. Yes, okay, good. So I have given you those ones. Yeah. Let the Right One In is the vampire story. House of Leaves is like essentially they find, I don't remember if it's a door or a hole. They find like, I think it's a small door in this house. And they venture inside the door of the house and like all hell breaks loose and it's a wild ride. So that one's not vampires. But yeah, Let the Right One In is, and it's not like cheesy vampire shit. It's not like romance, sparkly vampires. It's nothing like that. It's actually scary. I also love all the classics, like the original Dracula. I love Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I really love that book. Anything by Ray Bradbury. Martian Chronicles, Fahrenheit 451. All of those. You're okay, Lou. All right. So, I got all the color down. However, I would like to do some shading and things, but we're out of time, friends. You've seen both movies. Is House of Leaves, I don't think did House of Leaves make into a movie? I didn't know that if they did. Let the Right One In. I actually haven't watched the movie, just read the book. And the Swedish translation is important. Yeah, I hear you. Blaster, there is no secret. I know, I'm not gonna be late, but I am gonna go. I'm all done. I'm all done. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know these lives are so small. And we talk about all sorts of crazy stuff. But it makes my day so much better when I do this with you guys. So I hope it makes your day a little better. I typically would say I'll see you Monday. But you know what? I might sneak on here again later this week. We'll see. TBD. All right, friends. Have a great day. Fahrenheit 451. Andy, I've probably read that book 4 times, 5 times. It's so good. Am I here? All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll see you later, all right? Enjoy your day. Thanks for hanging with me.